Welcome to the Warband, a World of Warcraft podcast. I am your host, Swaglock, and with me today, the one, the only, Chicken. Dude, Chicken, how are you doing?
Yo, what's going on, baby? Too much.
Too much? Too much happening?
Not
Does your
too
wife feel
much.
okay with you calling me baby? Is that all right?
Low key, I call a lot of people baby. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Just like, let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right, just be careful around Chicken, everybody. You heard it here first. Breaking news.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you?
I don't know, dude.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, maybe it is. Okay, I don't specifically call people baby. I just say like, let's go, baby. You know?
All right, interesting. All right.
I don't know. Have you ever? It just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Rolls off the tongue. I mean, I guess sometimes you pick up those like weird like phrases, those weird sayings, and you're just like, well, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I just say it now. And you get too used to saying it, right?
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, definitely. No, it's Well, okay, I'm gonna take this like podcast in like a really strange direction for like 2 minutes.
Don't
okay,
you every week. Is that
and
is that normal?
just bear with me.
Okay.
Do you, when you were a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch the Wild Thornberries?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so yesterday my wife and I were talking, and I don't even remember what she was talking about, but then she was just like, do you remember the kid from the Wild Thornberries? Like that one weird kid that we have no idea what was wrong with him, but he would never say actual words. He would always just be like,
are you talking about Donnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Donnie was awesome, bro. I love Donnie.
He would just be like, me.
Yep. They found him like in the wild or something. So he's like this wild kid, didn't really even know how to talk. He just made voices. Yeah.
What is children's television? Like what? They found him in the woods? Like what?
Yeah, dude. I would argue kids television, isn't as good as it used to be. All right.
Well, yeah, because they're not talking about finding some random kid in the woods and we adopted him and he doesn't even talk. And his kids were just like, oh, that's awesome. Like, what?
Yeah, dude, he was like raised by wolves or whatever, or monkeys or something. I don't know, dude. I mean, it's a cool story beat, right? Like it adds a comedy relief character besides Nigel himself.
Okay. Anyways.
Although didn't the girl have like a pet monkey who could talk, or she could just talk to animals?
Oh
right?
Yeah, the monkey did talk. Oh my gosh. Exactly, bro. What is going on?
Yeah, right. So you had the daughter, right? And she's basically just like a beastmaster hunter, right? Talking to animals, right?
Yeah.
You have this adopted boy, Donnie, right? Straight up Fury Warrior, dude. That's a Fury Warrior if I ever heard one.
He just doesn't talk.
Yeah, I don't remember the character traits of everyone else. Nigel is probably, I'm gonna be honest, dude, Nigel's probably a prot paladin. He's a prot paladin.
Dude, he's a mage.
Nah, dude, he's a prot paladin, dude. That's prot paladin energy for sure, dude. He's 100%.
Okay.
I don't know what the mom and the other daughter would be though. I can't remember character traits enough. I just remember those three and the monkey. Anyways, back to World of Warcraft content.
What's going on, baby? How are you doing? What's your week been like, dude?
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Lots of stuff. Lots of new content. Lots of old content. Play on words.
Yeah, so I did a bunch.
Everything.
I did a bunch this week. Did a little bit more arenas again. I'm not very good at arenas.
What?
Yeah. Well, this was we're talking like Monday, Sunday, before the like reset happened. Once reset happened, I haven't touched arenas because I've just been so busy with everything else. All right, so did a tiny bit of that. I'm only like 1550 rating or something. It's like nothing, dude. It's a joke. It's something I can do where I can go, oh, I'm gonna sit down for 15 minutes, do a couple arena rounds, and then get up and go back to whatever I'm doing. Right. That was nice. I've been doing some remix, obviously, like lots of. I feel bad because I jumped on right when remix came out, and then I had to get up and do some stuff, and I've been busy. So I've been off and on Remix. I haven't gone like some people have gone like super hard and already have like 4, 5, 6 maxed out 80 characters.
That's crazy.
And they're talking about, which is fine, dude. If you love Remix, that's just not the pace I've been able to go at. So I've been taking my time. I've been going through it, just kind of leveling up a Death Knight. I want to get like the different transmogs and stuff, and I want to get the different appearances for the artifact weapons, because never really did that. I didn't play in Legion. Legion was like one of the 2 expansions I skipped, which is a bummer because Legion was awesome. I just would not have been able to play World of Warcraft. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking. Let me do some math real quick. Let me do some math. When did Legion come out? You know what, dude? World of Warcraft Legion came out in 2016. Actually, hot take, dude. You ready for the hottest take? You ready for the hottest, wildest take that has ever occurred on this podcast?
I guess so.
Here we go. If I had actually been wise enough to play Legion, right, when it originally came out in 2016, I probably would have dodged my first marriage.
Okay.
Yep. So a little, wisdom there. World of Warcraft saves lives.
Interesting.
Keep that in mind. However, ultimately, I can't complain because where I'm at today, I am so happy that like whatever journey I had to take to get here, totally fine with me. I just like making jokes. Dude, I like making jokes about anything that you can. Yeah, dude. Whether or not you're allowed to joke about it, I want to make jokes about it.
I mean, you already did.
I already did. So, anyways, I've been playing Remix, which has been fun kind of going through all that stuff. I've quested through those areas before because I wanted to get that experience in the past and pick up some of the story beats and some of the lore stuff. But it's fun kind of going through, and I really like Remix because it's not the normal level, right? Like if you're doing like normal leveling, I probably wouldn't do Remix, but because like they give you the little speed boost when you run around, and it's really easy to start stacking damage. And right now I'm just pounding out dungeons because all the dungeons give you like upgrades for your artifact weapons and stuff. So I've been doing that, collecting mounts. I'm not even close to max level, and I'm already getting multiple mounts. I was excited to try and get this with the game mode. So that's been really fun, enjoying that. Then on top of that, I've also been playing. I need to do keys this week. I've done keys. Our guild is doing a keys event tomorrow, helping people get into +2s. Like we're specifically just doing +2s and coaching people through that, which will be fun.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. I think very helpful. But I've also been doing some alpha testing, some more. Which again, my plate is like full on WoW stuff, so I haven't like hardcore gone into one thing. I've kind of just like I'm at like the buffet, right? I'm just sampling. For those who don't know, Chicken and I started the podcast because we used to sit at a pizza buffet and talk about WoW. Now the pizza buffet that we used to sit at is closed now, which is a bummer.
R.I.P.
Right, but if we were to take that analogy, right? If we were to take that analogy, it right now it really feels like we're at the buffet, right? The pizza buffet, and there are just so many different types of pizza out there, right? And so I'm putting like a slice of buffalo chicken pizza on my plate. I'm putting a slice of macaroni and cheese pizza on my plate. I'm putting a slice of, I don't even know, cheeseburger pizza on my plate, whatever they had, right? Whatever odd combinations they had. And I'm just kind of nibbling.
Some odd combinations.
Yeah, I'm nibbling on all of it, right? I'm not going in for one pizza. I'm just like kind of enjoying the spread. I'm enjoying the spread, and that's what it feels like right now, which has been fun, dude. It's been fun.
That's weird, dude.
But doing some more alpha. The reason why I jumped back on alpha is because I wanted to try out a little bit of that boss fight with the new boss timers that have been added into the game. You and I will probably talk about that later in the podcast.
Yes, we definitely will.
And then they also added in the ability to do external edits to your home now. So when I was testing so when we recorded the podcast last time, it was not possible to do any design work outside of your home. You can only do it inside the home. And now outside the home is available. Things aren't perfect. There's still a little bugginess and wonkiness going on with stuff. But overall, though, I'm really, really impressed with where player housing is going. I believe this episode comes out on the 12th, and the 13th, I believe it becomes available on PTR, so maybe other people get a chance to try that out and test out player housing, which will be really fun. We'll talk more about that. But I will say, I posted a picture in my Discord. If you're not in my Discord, there's a link in the description. You definitely should come check it out. Chicken is in there too, so you're not splitting custody between the parents, so don't worry. But I did post a picture in there in the photo screenshots channel that I took of the outside of my house. And I actually, dude, I thought I did a pretty good job. It's a cute little home. Yeah. I couldn't find the right trees I wanted, so I just used some like apple trees. But outside of that, I was like pretty ecstatic with what I did. The only thing that bummed me out was, I became limited on how many things I could put down. But I'm also only at like the level 1 option, right? So I imagine as you go up in your renown levels, you get more and more. But even still, even for just like the level 1 option, the amount of stuff I was able to do and creative things I put together was actually still fairly impressive. And so I am excited to see where it goes from there, what you're able to do. But yeah, all that to say, player housing's pretty sick. They're continuing to add more. I've loved being able to mess with that. Thank you, Blizzard, for giving me the opportunity to jump into there and try that out. I'm super appreciative. It's been really nice. And so, yeah. That's been my week in World of Warcraft. Chicken, how have you been doing in the good old Azeroth?
Oof, yeah. So here's the thing, man. No, I played a decent amount of WoW. Not gonna lie, I logged in yesterday, like ready to play Legion Remix, and then I started a character, and instantly I was like, I don't want to play this. And
makes sense.
I gave it like a half hour, and then I hopped back on and started a different character, and now I've been kind of playing it.
Dude, it's fun. Once you get into it, it's like fun.
It's all right. Like it's questing. Questing is not bad. Getting into the occasional dungeon isn't bad. Yeah. But it's I just don't like the grind. The grind to me is just boring.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Now, granted, as you continue to level up and do that, you do get faster and faster leveling. So I know people who have like 100% faster leveling now and so forth. I will say, ironically though, where I'm at right now, I think is 20% faster leveling, and I'm pretty sure that's still lower than what I have on normal retail.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, because I thought it might stack, but it doesn't.
No,
which
it doesn't
I
stack.
think is kind of dumb. I thought it would 100% stack if I like just went like, hey, I'm gonna put you in my warband, and now you're gonna get even more XP, and that's not how it. That's not how it works.
Nope, not how it works at all. Can I bring up something?
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Can I bring up something weird? Can I bring up something weird for the podcast to talk about?
Sure.
Sorry, this is so off topic. I'm opening up WoW right now because I wanted to see what the exact percentage is that I have right now for leveling on like a normal character, right? Like on normal retail. Okay. But the shop for World of Warcraft has a new mount and transmog set in the shop. And I think theming wise, they're actually pretty sick. Like, it's a Sand Lane, like vampire-y, the WoW vampire-y type vibe, like that you would get from Ice Crown Citadel, right? Very Ice Crown Citadel-y. But then the mount is, you remember the, oh gosh, what were they? The Shadowlands Keystone Master mounts?
Yeah,
So the mount is one of those, but it's like made of blood, basically. And I don't know why, but every time I look at it, and everybody loves it, by the way. If you're listening to the podcast and you're the one who made this mount, listen, I have a critique I'm mentioning, but I want you to know everything I've seen online, on Twitter and X and everywhere else, is that people love this mount. So for some reason, with me, when I see the mount, for some reason I see this. I don't think other people do. I'm just saying it because it's conversation for the podcast, and I'm sure somebody will relate somewhere. But dude, every time I look at the mount itself, it looks really kind of like, I don't know why, the design of it looks really lo-fi, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it kind of looks cheesy. I don't know why. I think I just now opened up for the first time in the in-game viewer, and I think it looks better in the in-game viewer, right? Because it's got like a bunch of like constantly moving animated parts, like very fast moving. But in screenshots, the very fast animated moving parts just look not good, right? And so once I see it in person, I think it looks a lot better. But you could tell they hit a point in designing this where it feels like they said, "Oh, we couldn't get exactly what we wanted. This is good enough. We can't spend more time on it." Like the armor all looks great, the coloring looks great. It's just the blood portion. There's something about the blood that just feels really off to me. Yeah. And again, am I gonna get it? Probably, dude.
Are you actually?
Yo, what is this?
Oh my gosh.
Did they put more new stuff in the trading post? Where did this giant mammoth thing come from with tentacles and
Wait, I thought you said
feet?
it was... Wait, is it in the shop or the trading post?
No, the shop. The shop.
Oh, okay. Then, wait, how are you getting the trading post?
Oh, no. I don't mean the trading post. I just mean the shop. They have, like, new stuff in the shop. The item shop.
Oh, you said trading post.
My bad.
I was like, wait, was it the shop or the trading post that originally had this? Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me.
Yeah. Anyways, all the same, I don't know why. When you look at it, you're probably going to be like, huh. Also, there's I don't know if you noticed, a new shop design, which actually feels a lot better.
I did see that. It's kind of weird.
I don't love that it takes a second to load. Like, you open it up and it shows the little store icon thing. It's cute. It's definitely more role play. Like, oh, you're entering the store. I just don't love that I have to wait a second, right? Anyways, I think it's a cool design. To me, it feels like whoever was doing the modeling for it wanted a little bit more time to get the blood just right, and they weren't allowed to have that time. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. Now, it's possible that it just never was going to be able to get just right because of limitations with the game engine, and that's the closest they're going to get. We don't usually see blood operate in that kind of way anyways in games, so...
this is kind of interesting.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, it feels like they needed a little bit more time with it, and they weren't allowed to have that time. That's how it feels.
I guess it's not necessarily, like, bad. It's just not necessarily...
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just that one thing for me. I'm just like, ooh, feels like they need a little bit more time. Just like a little bit more time with that.
Yeah. What can you do? I mean,
again, though,
I don't think I've ever bought a shop thing outside of, like, something that wasn't, like, tied to content. I've never bought, like, a cosmetic from the shop.
Yeah, I think so. When it comes to, like, shop stuff, I think one of the things I really appreciate about World of Warcraft is, like, if you want to buy something from the shop, no one's gonna, like, make fun of you for it, right? No one's gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe you got something off the in-game store. What a loser!" Right? At the same time, though, nobody's really looking at the shop stuff either. Like, oh my gosh, all the coolest things are in the store, and I'll never be able to get them, right? One, because Blizzard has made a way that if you really want it, you can go farm gold and then convert the gold to WoW tokens, and so you can technically get it, right? Like, I think that's how X, who's on our podcast, used to get a lot of his stuff, was just like WoW tokens. I know people in our guild who bought the Brugastore mount purely off WoW tokens. I'm sure other people know people who did too, right? So, anything in the shop truly is ultimately acquirable. But the cool thing, though, is no matter how cool stuff in the shop actually is, right? Like, people just inherently in World of Warcraft find more value in the things that are acquired through effort in the game. With that said, however, there are still, I think, plenty of people, and myself included, right? I've done this a few times, where there's still just something in the shop that just resonates with you really well. You're like, I don't care if other people think it's cool. I just want this thing. Like, I want to run around it. One example for me is I have the, what do they call it? The Grizzly Packmaster or whatever? The bear mount from the shop. And you can, it just does what the yak does. Like, if you buy the yak, if you have the yak, the bear does the exact same thing. It's a repair and a transmog mount. But I just don't always love how huge the yak is when I'm, like, doing a dungeon or something. And the bear's nice because, like, I don't know, one of my more natural mounts is, like, already going to be able to do repair things. So I like that. That's fun. I don't even know why we're talking about the shop right now, but they did do a shop update, so it's worth,
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, they did a shop update, right? So it's kind of worth
they did do a
bring
shop
that
update.
conversation
It's
back.
kind of cool.
I will say, do you still have the shop open? That mammoth thing? I don't know when that mammoth thing came into the shop. I haven't seen people talking about it. That one's sick, though. That one's actually low-key sick.
One?
Yeah. And because I've been playing a Tauren more lately, and the one thing I don't like with Tauren is that, like, all the mounts I normally use...
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, all the mounts I normally use look really lame on Tauren. And so it's like, now I'm thinking, okay, what are mounts that look better on Tauren, right? That mammoth probably looks better on a Tauren.
Yeah.
It's a chunkier amount. But anyways, all that to say though, that's one thing I appreciate with WoW is like even though they have the store and they put stuff in there, you can definitely tell they put effort into the stuff they put in there. It's not it's not like if you don't ever buy something from there, you're missing out. The exception maybe being like the Brutosaur mount. But the Brutosaur mount I think was I don't know. It's what it was. It's what it was. I'm also thankful.
1 in a million, bro.
I'm also thankful for the Brutosaur mount because guess what? I have it and it makes my life a lot easier and it was worth every penny. Oh, I remember why we were looking at the shop mount or the shop because I was actually logging in to see my experience gain. Yeah, so my experience gain in Remix right now is only 20%. I know people are listening and they probably have like 200%. I'm only like 23 on Legion. I've not been slamming Legion. I've been popping in and out as I can.
Yeah.
My Warband mentoring level boost that I have is 25%.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So ironically, I actually level faster on retail right now.
Yeah,
right now, very
sad.
quickly. I suspect that will change.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember.
As it starts.
I remember doing. Like, part of me forgot kind of how Remix worked, and like now I'm like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yep, no, I remember.
I remember doing like Mop Remix and like power leveling like a single character in like, oh my goodness, like an hour.
Dude, yeah, it got crazy. I think they toned things back a little bit for Legion Remix, which is probably for the better. And I like that they're kind of slowing things down a bit too. That has been really nice, I think. In terms of like not everything's available all at once. I know some players want that. I know some players want that. For me, I'm thankful that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, you know, I don't mind either way, to be honest.
Dude, that was actually, a couple episodes ago, we talked about time gating a bit, I think. And that was, I think, an area of controversy for a lot of people where they're like, I get it. I get that time gating is something that's frustrating when you just want to play the game and it feels like there's an arbitrary limit. Like, the content exists. It's there. Yeah. I'm literally just told I can't do it for another, like, 7 days.
I mean... There's some beauty in that, though, right?
I get the frustration. I think what people forget, though, ultimately forget with a game like World of Warcraft, is that it's not a single-player game. And I know for a lot of people, WoW is becoming more and more of a single-player game, right? And that's fine. That's the beauty of WoW, is there's so many ways to play it, and I think Blizzard's going to continue to develop and create more and new ways to play the game. At the same time, I do also think they have to be careful. Because if they allow the game to be too much of a solo experience, it actually hinders the MMO side of things. And what I mean by that is if the game is like, yo, you go into Legion Remix and you just pound it out as fast as you can and you just get Giga, right? That's fine, which you can do right now. You can absolutely do it. But in MoP, it like really hurt what was going on because people are just like pounding out, getting everything done. And then the players who didn't have that, like, I don't know, the like lucky ability to sit at home all day and do that. If I could, I love my job. I love my job to pieces. With that said, I would also love to sit at home and play WoW all day, right? Like, that would be fun. That'd be really sick to do. And I just can't, right? And so I think by having those time gating elements in the game, it allows players to stay more tightly within the same bounds. And I think that's really healthy for the game. Even if it's individually frustrating, I think it's exceptionally healthy for the game that, like, your players are all staying within remotely, even if it's a large space, a space that kind of keeps them in the same realm.
Yeah. I agree.
I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. I know I'm being extremely vague in saying it. More precise language is just escaping me at the moment. But there is...
I think it makes sense.
Right. And I think what's hard right now, though, is I think players are just looking for any reason at all to be like frustrated with time gating, and that's like a little annoying. I think it's starting to get frustrating to me when it's like, yo, guys, you're gonna get mad about time gating, and then next month you're gonna get mad that there's not enough stuff to do. Like I don't think people realize like Blizzard can't create content at the pace that you want to consume that content. They just can't. They can't, right? Blizzard cannot create content for the player that is spending 10 hours a day pounding out World of Warcraft. That's just hard to do, right? And so I think the word time gating comes up, and it becomes this buzzword where anytime you feel like you have to wait a second, you just get angry. And my thing I realized when I was talking to people about this, and it also applies to the time gating that they put in for Turbo Boost, is that everything in World of Warcraft is time gated. Every single thing in World of Warcraft is time gated to some degree. And we don't complain about 95% of it, right? Nobody's sitting there complaining about like things taking time, right? Like, oh wow, right? Like, I need to wait to do this, right? I need to take time. Guess what? I can't play Midnight right now. Well, actually, I have been, but most people can't play Midnight right now, right?
Actually, I can.
Right. Okay, but even still, I'm not playing like all of Midnight, right? Like,
actually, I can.
Right, but even still, right? Leveling is a form of time gating, right? Everything you do in World of Warcraft is a form of time gating. Now, people might be like, well, that doesn't count because I'm still doing content and I'm still progressing. I always want to be able to progress. Yeah, and I think that's where a remix comes in nice, where a remix is a fun little game mode that allows you to progress infinitely. But then I think, okay, so a great example of where I think people start getting angry about time gating and it's stupid is Turbo Boost, right? So people are upset. There's like some small rumblings in our guild this week about it, but I've heard some big, but I'm talking small, not really that big. Like, they get it, they understand it, a little annoying, but they get it. Where I've seen people go crazy though is like on like X. Everybody goes crazy on X for everything. The hottest takes all the time, right? But what I found so interesting is people getting so angry at this Turbo Boost thing. And they're like, I don't get why Blizzard has to time gate this, and time gating ruins the game, and everything's terrible because of time gating. I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. The facts are Legion Remix dropped, right? And was coming out. There is no way on Earth, no conceivable way that Blizzard is going to go, hey, we're going to give you Legion Remix where you can infinitely pump out player power based on how much time you want to put in, and simultaneously also turn on Turbo Boost and give you infinite crest collectability, right? Yeah. Like, that's just not happening. That's not happening. Blizzard's not going to look at their retail player base and say, hey guys, guess what, everybody? You have 2 absolutely uncapped game modes that you can now go do. That's crazy. That's crazy. Right? Like, because now, and some people are like, well, I don't care about Remix. I just want to go do my Mythic Plus dungeons. And some people are going to be like, I don't want to feel like I have to go grind power for my character when I want to just play some Remix right now. Right? Mm-hmm. And so what they're doing is they're saying, hey, look, if you want to play Remix, you have some time to play Remix before you go back to the grind of trying to pound out as many dungeons as you can to go past crest cap, right? And that's very healthy. That's very good. What Blizzard did that weirdly upset people, and this is where it gets really weird to me, what Blizzard did was they said, hey, look, even though we're not giving you Turbo Boost until the 21st or whenever it comes out, in the meantime, we're going to at least give you the expanded upgrades for your gear. So if you have the crests to pull off, you're still capped, but if you have the crest to pull off, you can at least push your gear up a little bit higher. That way, if you're not really into Remix, you still kind of have something you can do. It's not the full Turbo Boost. We can't give that to you until then, but we're at least giving you a little treat, right? A little treat. And then people turn around, and they like literally smack the hand that's feeding them. They're like, how dare you give me a little cookie right now? WoW players will be upset about anything and everything, and then they just slap labels on it. Oh, this is time gating. They're time gating the game. Sorry, I'm ranting, and I know I'm ranting, and I know people are upset with me, and they're like, Swag, stop ranting about this stuff on the podcast, dude. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, dude, Blizzard gave people a nice little treat and said, hey, look, we're allowing your gear to scale a little bit higher. If you want to do that, here you go. You don't have uncapped crest, so you might not be able to max out all your gear right now, but you can push some of it a little bit higher. Maybe this will help you out in dungeons a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. Right? And instead, players turn around and they're like, Blizzard, you're just time gating us. Like, would genuinely be honest with me? Do you think people would have, like, I 100% believe people would be happier, and this is stupid. It's stupid, by the way. But I 100% believe people would have been happier if Blizzard just did it all whenever the actual thing is coming out, like on the 21st or whatever the real date for that is. I think it's the 21st. Either 21st or 28th, whatever the real date for that is. I think people would have been genuinely happier if it all came out at once. And that's dumb. That's dumb.
Oh, yeah, I do agree with that. Like, yeah, 100% people would have just been like, oh, yeah, thanks, Blizzard, for releasing it all at once, even though it came out 2 weeks later than it was supposed to.
Yeah, right.
Like, not aware. Like, obviously, if we were aware, like, oh, hey, we're going to push it back 2 weeks, then people might say, okay, what the heck, Blizzard?
Dude, you know what this feels like? This feels like you're a kid, right? Like, this feels like these are children, right? And they had lunch. They had lunch, like, 2 hours ago, right? Maybe 3 hours ago, right? They had lunch. Dinner's not for another 2 hours. But they're a little hungry. They're a little hungry, right? It's been a minute. They could do a snack. And so their mom goes, hey, here's some like fruit gummies, right? You want some fruit gummies? Everyone loves fruit gummies, right? And you look at your mom and you're like, no, Mom, don't gatekeep me. I don't want fruit gummies right now. Give me dinner. And it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Nah,
like,
dude, every kid's like, yeah, I'll take gummies.
Right, like, yeah, I'll take the gummies, right? Like, it feels like children are smarter than WoW players right now, which is wild to me. And again, I get that this isn't the overarching, like, everybody feels this way. Even when I talked to people in the guild this week, right, it was kind of like, oh, it doesn't feel great that we have this, but not this. I get those elements. But I think what happens is these issues would really be non-issues, except you have forums like X, like Reddit, even the WoW forums themselves, where people just go to complain, right? They just go to complain, and their public complaints stir up other people to also be like, yeah, this is annoying, right? But the reality is Blizzard gave you a treat. They would never drop Turbo Boost the same week as Legion Remix. We didn't even talk about on the podcast, like, that feels odd that they're both at the same time, right? No, they're giving you a little snack to hold you over for the actual meal, right? You got a little snack. If you don't like Legion Remix, you can still maybe push up your gear a tiny bit. I don't know. It's just, it's fascinating to me.
Stupid.
Yeah, and I bring it up again. I bring it up because to me, it's like, okay, these people who are like raging on Twitter, yelling words like time gating. I think we love these buzzwords because buzzwords feel powerful. Right? Buzzwords feel powerful. I can throw this buzzword around. It sounds like I know what I'm talking about.
Boom, 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 buzzword.
But like, genuinely, what's wrong with the little time gaming? Right? And maybe that's because I'm not somebody who's dumping all my time into World of Warcraft, so I don't feel it. But what's wrong? What's wrong with, like, even Legion Remix, right? Like, not all raids are available right away. Great. I'm happy with that. You know why? Because I'm only level 23. I don't have 7.
Yeah, I don't have time to do all the raids right away either.
I don't have 7 level 80s ready to go. So I'm very happy going like, okay, cool. I'll get up to level 80. I'll do the one. I'll keep gearing. And when the next one comes out, I'll like be ready to do it with like my guildies and stuff. And we can have fun doing it together. We'll probably be giga powerful, right? Like, plus it probably gives Blizzard time to retune things to match where players are actually at by that point, right?
Yeah. Well, if they retune it, yeah.
If they retune it, right?
I mean, I imagine they might, but I also guess I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah. All that to say, I'm ranting about something that probably isn't that big of a deal, but and the time gating one's the safe one to rant about it on. But the number of times I just see, man, dude, I feel like WoW players are often like the most ungrateful gamers. Maybe most gamers are pretty ungrateful, but WoW is just like where I spend my time. And that's not to say everybody is, because let me tell you, man, I've been talking to so many people who are just in love with what's going on with Remix right now. They're having a blast. Yeah. Even people who are like, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, and I'm just loving it right now. I wasn't really planning on even doing much with it, and it's just so fun. People who are talking who are like, yo, look, I knew the crest, like the gear levels would go up, so I actually saved my gilded crest just for this very moment, so I have them ready to go, right? I've had all sorts of conversations with people who like are just loving what Blizzard's doing, and so I want to make sure that like I also clarify not everyone's dooming, right? And I also want to clarify because I know I had conversation with guildies this week about it. They're not the ones I'm talking about. They get it. They were just discussing the conversation, and so if they're listening, I don't want them to feel like they're the ones I'm talking about. genuinely just watching vitriol, anger, like this, like almost like violent response to like Blizzard saying, "Hey, here's a little snack while people are playing Legion Remix." Dinner's later, right? You'll have Turbo Boost later. Right now they're playing Legion Remix.
I think it's not big of a deal. It's just a crest cap. Like, come on.
I think what it is though is what people feel. And so if I were to play devil's advocate for a second, what people feel is like, yo, you just gave us the ability to like level up our gear even higher, but I've already spent all my crests maybe on heroic gear or something. And so now I can't, like, I don't have enough to keep pushing it up. And so you've given me the ability to push up higher, but I still can't. And it's not turbo boost because I'm not actually turbo boosting. Why are you spreading it out? I want to also clarify Blizzard's official statement is that turbo boost starts with the cap released, not the increased gear eye level.
Turbo, I'm just non-turbo.
This isn't dinner yet. It's just snack time. Dude, all this food talk is getting really hungry.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's kind of hard to. I don't know. I've always been on the fence with this. I feel like this is something that just generically will always be a problem until like the end of time. And no. Let me rephrase this. This will always be a problem as long as WoW is a subscription-based game. If they took away subscription, I don't think like people don't have a reason to complain. Like, sorry, like, what do you want? Like, this is any other game that you pay $100 every 2 years to play, right?
Yep.
I think the subscription model is why people are like, oh, I pay all this money to play WoW, and I want to play it the way I want to play it. And I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, come on, like, it's like.
And that's probably where the frustration comes of like, hey, I'm paying to play this game, and now you're making me wait longer, which means I'm paying to not do the thing I want, and then later I'll have to pay again to finally be able to do it. And I get that. Like, I get that frustration, but the thing you want to do is still available. Like, if what you want to do is run dungeons, you can still run dungeons. That's not gone.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it might not be in the timeline that you want to do it. Like, you might just have to wait an extra, like, day, maybe.
Yeah. And it's funny because they're like, well, Blizzard's arbitrarily holding that back from us, right? Blizzard's holding that back. Like, they could just turn it on. Blizzard could also allow your gear to just scale to eye level 100,000 if you just dumped infinite crests into it, right? Like, Blizzard can do something. I mean, look at Legion Remix, right? Like, look how Remix plays. Like, if Blizzard wanted to, your character could just scale infinitely for everything. Clearly, we also realized that if Legion Remix was the core gameplay of WoW, if this infinitely scaling power was the core gameplay of WoW, it would not be fun. Remix is fun because it's limited, and you try to see how far you can push in that limited time. But it's not fun if it's just like Timmy over here without a job. And sorry to, I'm not trying to make fun of people who are playing WoW because they don't have anything else to do at the time.
I'm not trying to make fun of people whose names are Timmy.
Or I will make fun of Timmy's, but not make fun. I'm not trying to make fun of somebody who's like in between jobs or something and trying to figure out their career stuff.
Dude.
But the point being though, right? Like, you're home all day long. You're spamming your character. Your character is now like 100 times stronger than like almost anyone else in the game. That wouldn't be fun long-term gameplay. It's really fun short-term, limited time gameplay of like, yo, we're pushing. We know these characters go back to retail eventually, but right now we're just slamming to see what happens, right? That's cool. That's fun. That's crazy. So like time gating and gating in general, right? Like power gating, time gating, all this stuff, it's important. Like, these are things that matter, right? Like, imagine if World of Warcraft came out and they were just like, yo, here's all 3 of your raids with the new expansion. Pace yourself. You have 2 years.
Ooh. Dude, that would be awful. Like, it literally would be.
Dead
like
game.
if like I imagine, so like I think Shadowlands is a good, like, almost like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Example?
Maybe examples, not the, like, again, to play devil's advocate, like, I think Shadowlands would be a one to look at because, hey, it had the same dungeon pool and it had everything pretty similar. Obviously raids, but like, imagine if it was literally just, hey, we're going to release all the raids and all the zones, and then you have them for the next 2 years. And I mean, that was a very real thing for dungeons, right? You had the same dungeon pool every single, season. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, they were different because they had the what's it called, but I mean, come on, were they that different? I mean, honestly, were they that different?
No.
So, and I think.
Are you talking about the seasonal affixes, right?
Yeah, but like that didn't change it. Like, come on, that was literally just hey, we're gonna make it look different, but also keep it the same. And I don't know if that was a Blizzard problem or if that was just like a generic like, hey, we're gonna take a break this season or this expansion problem. Well, that's how it always was, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so the norm was that you had the same dungeons all expansion long, and then adding in the mega dungeon would give you a couple extra options. Because Shadowlands Season 4 was the first time that they introduced the rotating dungeons, right? And that was annoying, but at least you had seasons to kind of break it up. Or like, oh, new season, see how far you can push. Everybody's starting from ground zero again, right? Gear starting fresh. You have maybe some new affixes, right? A new seasonal affix. That at least kept it feeling fresh, right? But imagine, like, Blizzard comes out and they're like, yo, here's all 3 dungeons. They're available right now. We'll see you in 2 years with Midnight or something, right?
Dude, that would feel terrible. That would literally feel terrible.
That would not feel great, right? So inherently, we have to understand that the game is only fun when there are certain limitations in place. And there's moments where breaking those limitations for a little bit is really fun, like Remix. It's really fun. But if you've ever played a game where you can just like turn on like an infinite power mode or turn on cheats or something,
it doesn't feel great.
All of a sudden that game like is less fun, right? The rules are what
doesn't feel great. Yeah.
The rules are what make a game enjoyable.
I agree.
Right? And so World of Warcraft is like full of that. Like, what are the developers doing to make sure we're having fun? I used to work with teenagers a lot, right? And really? Doing events and programming and stuff for teenagers. And so I was talking to some people this week who now work in that field, and I was doing like a little bit of coaching with them on how to successfully do some of that. And it was funny because we were talking, and I was just like, hey, one thing you have to be aware of is they actually have like no clue what they actually want. They'll tell you what they want, and then when you do that thing, they don't show up, right? Now, teenagers are different, I think, a little bit than adults, right? In the sense where I think a lot of WoW players actually have great insight into the things they want, right? Player housing was something players asked for a long time. There's different elements that players have been asked for that. And I will say, to give Blizzard a huge credit, their design philosophy the last couple of years has really shifted to change towards like what players are asking for. In the past, there was literally interviews where people would be like, no, players don't know what they want. Like, they just don't know. But I will say though, the answer is probably in the middle. I think players oftentimes have a great idea of what they want. And I think players also oftentimes have great ideas of what they think will be fun short term, but will actually make the game horrendous long term. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing is Blizzard has to decipher all of that. Like, what are the good ideas? What are the not so good ideas? And
what are the lame ideas?
Right. And so what Blizzard's doing, because again, they want to sell subscriptions. They want to sell expansions. They want to sell stuff in the shop. And in order to do all of that, people have to be playing the game. If people aren't playing the game, the shop's not selling. They're not selling expansions, and they're definitely not selling subscriptions, right? And so Blizzard is constantly thinking like, okay, what will keep people playing and what actually works? And they have 20 years of data on what keeps people playing this game. And if you're not enjoying the game, you're not gonna keep playing, right? Because people are like, oh, they'll just make us do things that are deeply unfun but force us to play the game. Not really, because if it's deeply unfun, you'll just play a different game.
No, you just won't play.
Right? Like, you'll just play
you're not going to play
game.
WoW if it's not fun.
And so I do think that's a... anyways, that was a long tangent. All of that to say, I think we're really quick to try and complain about something, and we're not so quick to sit there and be like, well, why is Blizzard doing this? Like, why are they actually making the choice that they're making on this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said, brother.
Anyways, that was a long tangent. Kind of the classic swag goes off his rocker for a second moment.
That was very much swag goes off the rocker.
Yeah.
Oh, good job.
And by the way,
that's good. It was good.
I love these discussions. I love chatting about it. People don't have to agree with me when they listen to the podcast. If you have if there's things I say you're like, oh, I don't know, swag, that seems like very out of touch. Like that's a very out of touch take or something. Dude, what I would love too is never be afraid to use. We love taking questions for the podcast, right? Never be afraid to use the podcast questions opportunity to be like, hey, swag, you said this, or Chicken said this on the podcast. I disagree for such and such reason, right? We would love to discuss it more, right? Like, listen, we're always looking for things to talk about, so we won't complain, or at least I won't complain. Chicken might be like, dude, stop having them tell me I'm wrong about things.
No, I probably wouldn't complain. Yeah. I'm pretty typically wrong.
Nice. I'm never wrong. For the most part. I've never once been wrong in my life about anything.
Okay, that's a lie. Anyways, however many hours later, we are ready to dive into true content, true podcast thoughts. And obviously, I think it's the biggest thing on everyone's mind that's listening right now.
That's What's right. We're doing
okay.
We're ranking. We're ranking right now. We have a game that Chicken put together, and the game is called Which Class is the Biggest Red Flag on a First Date?
Oh my gosh. That's for the Patreon, dude.
Dude, what? Yeah. We'll do a. Okay, you know what? Yeah, heck yeah, dude. We're gonna do a dateability tier list for all the specs in the game. All right, dateability tier list for all the specs in the game. Let's go.
Stop,
on the Patreon.
No.
Patreon exclusive.
No, we're not doing that, right?
Dude, that's content, bro. Dude, that's content.
That's the weirdest content, dude.
Bro, you go on a date with somebody. You find out this person is an assassination rogue. Yay or nay?
I feel like assassination rogue's probably okay.
Yeah, dude, they're usually pretty smart. Find out they're a Beastmaster hunter.
I wouldn't have a problem with assassination rogue.
Yeah, but if they're like
like a sub rogue.
Yeah, no, definitely not sub rogue.
Oof. Anyways, I don't even know why you brought that up. That was the weird. Okay, that was weird. Anyways,
well, you said we're gonna do like normal podcast things. I was like, okay, podcast things like rank stuff. So
no, normal to this podcast, you nerd.
Makes sense. So where are we at now? What's going on? I ranted for a while. We got that out of the way.
What'd you say?
So I ranted for a while. We got that out of the way.
You gave a little bit of your synopsis, but do you have any other thoughts about what you think of Midnight Remix? Oh my gosh.
Legion Remix or Midnight?
Legion Remix. Yeah, no, Midnight Remix. No, Legion Remix. What is there any other things?
Let's just say, dude, I'm literally playing it right now. I'm actually in a dungeon fighting Lady Hate Coil on my Blood DK.
That's pretty impressive that you were able to do that and rant like that. I'm not gonna
dude, it makes
lie.
it easier, actually. You think I'm thinking about anything I'm doing? I'm just smacking buttons.
Okay.
Ignoring mechanics, pressing buttons. Honestly, I think it's fun. I think them having these short-term game modes like this are awesome. I think Blizzard needs to do more stuff like this each season. Does that mean we get a remix every season?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think players overall tend to probably prefer a remix to maybe like a Plunder Storm. As much as I love Plunder Storm.
Yeah,
they probably prefer a remix.
Plunder.
But I would also imagine a remix probably takes way more design time than Plunder Storm does.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, because Plunder Storm probably from the start took more design time.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
But now bringing Plunder Storm back probably takes less time than bringing Remix back. Because every time they do a remix, it's like a new expansion, right?
Yeah. But I mean, not necessarily. It's the same expansion, just on a different playing field, right?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
so let's say they brought Remix back again. It was WAD, right? They would have to go into WAD, map out which areas you can and can't go to, go through and change all the quests. So all the quests give you the the loot boxes instead of.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe there's more into it than I anticipated.
Right. That's just kind of what I meant by that. It feels like it's a bigger workload for Blizzard, but I do think it has a better response from players. I personally, though, will always say that I really do enjoy Plunderstorm. I think Plunderstorm's a blast. I would love to see it come back. I don't think we're getting a Plunderstorm anytime soon. I'm sure that's on the shelf for another day. I would say, though, if Plunderstorm ever comes back, please give us a new area. Please just give us a new zone.
For Plunderstorm, I feel like they have to, right? I feel like it's got to be.
I get why they do where they do it, because it's a lore-heavy area, so it's good to keep players in that space. It's also a very well self-contained area, right? So it's not like if you try to leave it, you're going to end up in, like, another spot. Right? Like, it's almost an island. I think it's got, like, 2 spots that maybe connect to other zones, but there's, like, mountains in the way or things, so... or a giant wall, right? So it kind of works. It kind of works. But you know what we should mention, though, because we're talking about these things. There was that one game mode that they were thinking about adding in that was supposed to be kind of Plunderstorm in the sense where it was like a mini game, competitive to some degree in like a PvP sense, like Plunderstorm, but not Plunderstorm. We were speculating it was probably like a Dead by Daylight mode, because they mentioned it being in like somewhere like Duskwood, somewhere spookier.
Yeah, what about it?
We just haven't heard anything about it.
Right? Oh, I thought you were going to tell me, we've heard something about it.
No, we haven't.
Say, oh, that's neat.
We haven't, which is crazy, because they announced that forever ago, and I thought for sure we've heard something about it by now. But you know what, though? It might be something coming in with like 11.2.7 potentially, even though 11.2.7 will have player housing. So I think they know that when player housing comes in the game, they don't really have to add too much more.
Oh, heck no, dude.
Dude, you saw me on my stream, bro. I easily put 3 hours of time into just like decorating the outside of my house. And I wasn't even like trying to go do quests to... Oh, I died. I wasn't even trying to go do quests to like rank up or anything. Right? Like I just was like literally just sitting there decorating. Right? So when player housing comes out and people are trying to do achievements, like old achievements, so they can get different furniture pieces, and they're trying to do all these things, I think you're going to see an even different experience at that point.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I do agree with that, but at the same time, I'm like, you know. I mean, I don't know. Here's my thing.
I'm waiting.
It's hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like those aspects of the game, but let's be honest. It's not WoW. It's not what we all play and what we all love. It's cool. Like I like Plunderstorm. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also like. And I think I've said this before.
Wait, what are you saying? Are you saying the like new game, like the game mode that they hinted at, or talking about player housing? Because I said that I was like, I think when player housing comes out, it's going to take up a lot of people's time, so they don't really need another little game mode added in. Are you saying player housing doesn't feel like WoW, or are you saying
no? I'm saying like these game modes don't.
Okay,
and I think maybe that's why they kind of like put it on the back burner for now. Like, Plunderstorm's cool, but, like, if I'm going to play Plunderstorm, I can only play it for, like, an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this is cool. But then I'm also like, you know, I kind of want to play Fortnite now.
The one really good thing I think they did last time with Plunderstorm was they made it a lot easier to farm stuff, right? So you didn't have to spend crazy time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, dude, this has been all over the place.
Dude, that's the fun of the podcast, dude. We're talking about World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft is a big game, dude. Big game. Oh my god.
We're just like literally all over the place. People listening to this probably feel like friggin' mental soup right now.
Probably.
Anyways, so yeah, that was my question. You don't have anything else about Legion Remix? How far did you end up getting?
I'm level 20. Let me check real quick. I'm level 23 in Legion Remix. So I didn't get very far. I've just been doing questing. But I enjoy it, man. And it feels good. It's just a fun change of pace, especially going from like, oh, I'm trying to slam keys and finally get KSL to like, okay, I'm speedrunning dungeons and juicing up my character and getting bronze and collecting mounts and doing all stuff. And I like that like the mounts and things don't feel like they're giga expensive to get a hold of, right? Like everything feels pretty reasonable. I'm not one of those players who needs everything. Like I know people who are like, they're like, I have an Excel spreadsheet of every single mount that's available and every single transmog that's available. Like I get it all. Dude, I love that. I wish I could have that like focus. I just don't. So I kind of go and I'm like, okay, however much I get, what are the main things I'd be really happy walking away with? Like if I walked away with these things from Legion Remix, I'd be happy. So I have like a few items, but honestly, I'll probably get those items by the end of next week and then be done.
And just kind of roll.
Probably getting to level 100 gives me enough bronze to get all the stuff I want to get.
Level 100? I thought you could only get to 80.
Level 80. My bad. Sorry.
Oh. I was like, whoa, can you get to level 100? Maybe
I can, dude. I can. You can't, but...
Oh, I can't? Oh, that's
dumb.
No,
I'm special.
Oh, it's because you got the hookups from Blizzard.
Yeah, they gave me that extra
alpha access.
Oh, no. I don't know what alpha goes to. I think I'm only 80 on alpha.
No, it definitely goes above 80.
No, because they're not testing the higher levels. I actually don't know what Midnight goes up to.
Right.
I actually don't know what Midnight goes up to.
Midnight would go up to 90, right?
Maybe.
I would think it always goes up 10.
Usually goes up 10. No, there was a period where they went up by 5.
Oh no, there's no way, dude. It'll go up by 10.
Max level. Wow.
It'll go up by 10. I'm like positive. I'm positive. I couldn't be any more sure.
It'll be 90. It'll be 90.
Yeah.
But there have been times where they only increased it by 5. Depending upon like... Because once the problem was for a long while, leveling was like... You were doing all the leveling, right? And so you would like have to level from through classic content into Burning Crusade content, into Wrath content, into Kata content, into Mists of Pandaria content, into WoD content, and then finally you're in Legion content, right? And it was a pain, and so they were like, oh, we're just going to do smaller increments, and that way then you don't have to spend as much time in those expansions. And finally, they were just like, okay, never mind. We're level squishing, and you're just going to speed level through it. You can pretty much get to max level just picking one expansion to level in.
Yeah.
But it was not originally that way, right? So like when I was playing Wrath a lot, I played a lot of Wrath, right? Like when I played a lot of Wrath, dude, it was annoying because you have to level your character all the way through Kata, and then, or not all the way through Kata, all the way through Classic, right? And then all the way through the Burning Crusade, and then finally you're in Wrath content.
Ugh.
And so making alts was the worst.
Yeah, that sounds literally awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sounds literally like the worst.
I still did. I liked questing a lot more back then. I don't like questing as much.
Yeah. I mean, questing back then seems more enjoyable, but it's just not
to
enjoyable
an extent. But it was still a grind. It was still a grind back then. I think Blizzard's actually added. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I think they've added more fun game mode stuff with endgame content than what maybe previously existed. Right, so like, I know I talk about M+ all the time. I get that, but not just M+, right? Other game mode stuff, like including delves, even right, new raiding content, like all this stuff is just so much more fun, right? That I don't know, man. Trying to just do all the leveling just ain't it for me anymore. I just don't. I just want to play the parts of the game that I really enjoy playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that we're kind of on the same boat with Legion Remix. I'm only like level 20, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, dude. I'm enjoying it. Are you having fun?
Yeah. I feel like I need to just start doing raids, but I'm nervous that I won't get invited to raids, or maybe I should start doing dungeons. I don't know. One of the two.
I think you can just raid find your queue into raids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should try that. I just feel like it's just like so, like, still feels like it's kind of slow. So I'm like, I've been doing a couple of dungeons, but they kind of still feel slow as well. I don't know. I think maybe I just need to just buckle down. And
are you making sure
to
upgrade your weapon with the sand that you get?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, it still just feels like everything's kind of slower, and maybe that's just me,
Yeah. Well, actually, ironically, right? Like you would have slower leveling right now than you would on retail. Do you have the 25% on retail?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, yes. But what actual topics have we got for this week, right? So we talked about remix, we talked about time gating stuff that I was ranting about. We do have the cooldown manager. I haven't really messed with the cooldown manager. I did mess on alpha with the boss mod replacement, like the timers, like boss timers replacement. How did you feel about the CD manager? I really need to mess with it. My goal personally is to switch over to all of the Blizzard stuff entirely before midnight comes out. So that way I'm like ready to go right off the bat and I feel comfortable with it all. And I'm not going into midnight like, well, now I have to switch everything around for the first time. Like I'd rather make a character on retail and learn to use their new stuff now than to try and figure it out then.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Yeah, so I've used the cooldown manager actually a fair amount. I think there are good things about it, and I think there are bad things about it. So start with the good. I think it's a lot better. You can choose which cooldowns you want to use now, or which cooldowns you want to track now.
Yeah.
And like before, it was like, oh, we're just gonna track all your cooldowns, and I was like, no, like I don't care about like. No offense, I don't care about my, Rise of the Ally, stuff like that stuff. Like I'm more worried about my Dancing Room weapon, my, my Bone Storm, my Vampiric Blood, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And like when I'm tanking, dude, I just want to know where my defensives are. Are my defensives up or are they not up?
Like I want to know if my defensives are good. I want to know if Dancing Room weapon's up. It's pretty good. And So they break it down into two things where they break it down to spells and buffs. So you can track your spell cooldown and then you can track your buff cooldown. Which the buff cooldown, I'm like I kind of wish they would add different ones. So like the three that I'm running right now are Dancing Room weapon, Bone Shield, and Purgatory. So it like visibly comes up as a an active like tracker on my screen of saying like, hey, you have Bone Shield for 20 more seconds unless you like proc unless you add obviously another one, or hey, your Purgatory only has like 1 minute left on the cooldown, right? Like that's kind of cool. I like those. My biggest gripes I think right now are two things. One, there's not a good way of tracking procs. So like if I proc like a free Death and Decay, right? And it procs, I don't even remember what the talent is that procs you to use a Death and Decay that doesn't track or doesn't take a rune. It doesn't, there's no way of tracking that. Like there's no way of like it just popping up on my screen and say, hey, Death and Decay, drop a Death and Decay for free basically, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's this one. Oh, well maybe there is one. Maybe I'm just like stupid.
Well, and that's the question I think that needs to be worth asking is like, how much work should the UI be doing for you? And my suspicion is Blizzard wants to get to the point where the work or the UI isn't doing any work for you. And you might be, and someone's listening is probably like, oh, well, just letting me know. Like, because it's already telling me when my cooldowns are available. Like, what's any difference between telling me when my cooldown's available and also telling me when I get a free drop here, right? Now, the game, I think, by default, usually highlights those things when they are available like that, right? Like, on your bar, they glow, right? In those moments. What you want to be careful of, though, is that you're not highlighting it when it's like, this is the best opportunity to use this, right? Because now the game's trying to offload some of your processing, right, for you. So you're not mentally processing, and the game's just telling you when to do something. And that's where I think Blizzard wants to get away from. I think you're going to lose that. But things like, oh, hey, I get a free Death and Decay right now. That's not really saying this is the best time to use Death and Decay.
It's just
saying
letting
you
know that you have it, right?
Right, you get a free one. But I believe the game does highlight D&D at that time, right? It does it does put a glow on it, so you at least know that.
Yes.
I wonder if there's a buff attached to it, right? You might be able to track that buff, maybe. I don't know. I haven't messed with the cooldown manager at all.
Yeah, so I think there is. It looks like I can actually track that.
Yeah.
Because it's based on auto attacks. If you auto attack on targets inflicted with blood plague, you have a chance to say your Death and Decay cost no runes.
Yeah.
So it does look like you can do that, but looking through them again, it doesn't actually look like I can track
that specific buff.
No, it looks like it'll come up. It doesn't look like I can track vampiric strike. Like, so when I pop my dancing room weapon, it replaces vampire or heart strike with vampiric strike. It doesn't look like that'll pop up and say, oh, you have vampiric strike now, and how long that'll take.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just missing it, and maybe I am, and if I'm missing it, then obviously that's not one of my gripes anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I still do have one gripe. I think my one gripe is that you can't, and this is something that I have not found, and I don't think it's able to do, which I think they will need to add this before they take out everything else. Yeah. There's no way of tracking your trinkets or your consumables. So like I cannot say like, oh, I can take another temper potion. It's been 5 minutes. I can take another one. Or hey, my trinket cooldown is up. I can pop that. Like, I don't know if they just haven't figured out the coding to put in like variable ones where you can say, hey, like I have a trinket now, I want to be able to track that, or hey, I want to track this consumable, right? And lust is another big one. I don't know if they've well, see, that's one that I'm not sure if, because I don't have a character that has lust. I don't know if you can track the 10-minute cooldown from lust or not. So I still think there are some improvements that can be made, and it's probably just the coding for a variable one that's not like in your spell list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that'll be added, but again, I can't track my use trinkets. I can't track if hey, my I want to take another battle potion, I can't really track that. Or I want to take a health pot mid battle too. So
yeah.
Other than that, though, I think it's I think it's very good for
what you said
I was
too,
expecting.
Right? Of like tracking.
To
what you said about tracking, right? I'm sure there's people who are like Obadiah Stane from Iron Man, right? When he's like, but Tony Stark built this in a cave, right? And they're thinking like, if weak orders can do it, if whatever can do it, why can't Blizzard make their UI do it? And I think it's important to remember that Blizzard absolutely 100% can. Like, Blizzard could create weak orders, no problem. They could easily make weak orders, no problem. The question is if they want to. And that's where I think where you're feeling some of that tension of like, oh, will I be able to track this? Will it let me track trinkets? Will it let me track all these things? I think that's some of the tension Blizzard's facing of like, they could just go, okay, doors wide open. You're getting a weak aura type system. Do whatever the heck you want with it. But now all of a sudden, you're doing all the things that Blizzard doesn't want you to actually be able to do, right? So they need to create limitations. And so my question I always ask with Blizzard's add-ons and UI and what they're letting you do or not letting you do is like, I think Blizzard wants to give you the most they can give you without also accidentally opening up a side door to like pull off a bunch of things that they really wish you didn't have the ability to pull off, right?
Yeah.
And so my hope is that it comes out stricter, and then over time we see it loosen up a little bit as they're sure certain things can't screw up other things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even like the whole black box thing, right? The whole like, hey, it's we're taking all the fight data and we're putting in a black box, and you can recolor the box, but you can't see inside the box, right? And what they meant,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I hear people talk about that a lot. What they mean by that is like all the math going on, you have no access to that logic, right? You have no access to the logic, but you can freely use add-ons to reskin the result of that logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can reskin how the damage meters looks. You can reskin how most things look. You just can't have your add-on doing the reskinning also be doing logic as well, right? So like it can't be doing its own logic right? So even what I was talking about, like I was playing around with the boss timers, which seemed fine to me. I didn't really have any major issue with them. They don't have bards as an option. It's only a timeline, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the timeline was kind of cool, but I think bards would be.
I watched that part of your stream.
Bards would probably be easier to read because of what I'm familiar with. But here's the thing: I have no doubt that your ability to reskin it will actually let you turn it into bards. Like I have no doubt, like that's an option, right? Because all you're doing is you're taking what that tool is already putting out informationally, and you're just reshaping it.
Yeah.
Right. So that should be totally doable, right? Your bards, like the bards, wouldn't be doing any logic. They're just going, oh, it's a timeline. We're just changing the look of it into bards.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But the exact same data coming out, which I think is good.
No, I think I agree, dude.
Right.
And
yeah.
It looked pretty good from what I was watching your stream and seeing it, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I liked it. I even liked how they did a little 5-second mark. So, like, you don't even have to be, like, really looking at the numbers. You can just see kind of where it is in relation to that little dot. And you're like, okay, 5 seconds, and then this is happening. I think that's really awesome. I think we're going to see a lot going on. I think the weak ore situation is interesting. The whole, like, weak ores coming out and being like, well, unless Blizzard gives us enough access, we're just not going to continue the app. And it's what it is. I think ultimately the people who make weak ores make it because they want it for combat purposes. And everything else is a small benefit. And that's hard. There was also that guild, was it like Undaunted or whatever? The guild that came out of the deaf players who were like, hey guys, we actually need these add-ons in order for us to do the content. If we don't have these add-ons, we don't have a way to do this content and communicate with each other. And that's a hard one. Like, that's a hard one because...
Yeah, it is.
People are playing this game because these add-ons allow them to have more accessibility than they would have for any other game. And so they can finally communicate with other people and, like, have fun gaming with other people for maybe the first time ever. And now Blizzard's getting rid of their ability to do that. The hard thing, though, is, like... And it's going to sound rough for me to say it out loud, but it's the truth. It's ultimately the truth, right? Accessibility is deeply important for gaming. Like, accessibility is deeply, deeply important. But also, how accessible can you make a game before you hurt the game, right? And that's the question, right? Like, ultimately, that has to be a question that's asked. How accessible can it be before it actually hurts the game? At some point, that does happen, right? And maybe somebody can come up with a creative way for it to not happen, right? Like, maybe somebody can come up with, like, a creative way. No one's proposed one yet. It's not impossible. It just hasn't been proposed as of right now, for them to be able to communicate and play together. My suggestion, if I were to give one, have all your raiders get a second monitor, like a small little second monitor, and then use some sort of program as the raid leader to send commands over that second monitor.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
That would probably be your best bet. It would have to be external from the game. I don't think Blizzard would necessarily get upset if you were like, hey, our raid leader has a little button pad in front of them with, like, major command, like call outs for that fight that they just, like, compress, like a stream deck, right? You press the stream deck, it's going to send out, like, a little command. But what I was saying before, though, was, like, it sucks because I know why Blizzard's doing the whole add-on thing. They need to make the game more accessible, right? They need to make the game more friendly for new people coming in, that people coming into WoW are looking at going, oh, wow, I can just jump right in. I don't need to go download 30 add-ons. Somebody will say, well, you only need 3 add-ons. Great. 3 add-ons, though, to a brand new player feels like 30. And then secondarily, they need to make the combat, like, actually be challenging and fun without requiring add-ons, right? And right now, and I have a video coming out about it, so that'll be on my YouTube. But right now, Blizzard is in this arms race against players, right? Where Blizzard makes fun, challenging content, and then players create add-ons that help solve some of those puzzles or some of the difficulty. And so then Blizzard has to make the content more challenging so it stays fun. But then add-ons continue to solve that. And so right now, we've created content in the game that really, without add-ons, is incredibly daunting. And some people are like, well, you'd be good with... If you're good with add-ons, then you're still good without add-ons. I agree. A good player is a good player. But also, right now, the content people want to do is requiring you to track everybody's kicks in your groups and everybody's CDs in your groups and right, like it's requiring you to track so much information that normally Blizzard wouldn't expect you to track, but because add-ons allow you to, now Blizzard does expect you to track it. And so they continue adding more kicks to mobs and continue adding more things going on in trash packs just to try and keep that level of difficulty even with the growth of more and more powerful add-ons. Right, and so Blizzard's trying to say, no, we want to keep the game still just as challenging as it was before. It's not going to be, like, for anybody who's thinking about it, the game's not becoming easier with the removal of add-ons. It's not becoming easier, and I also don't think it's becoming harder. I think it's just going to be the same difficulty that it was with add-ons, now without add-ons, right? So, like, the challenges you were facing while also running add-ons are going to be the same level of challenge, but now you just won't have add-ons. Right, and so like the goal is that it feels the same, right? The goal is that ultimately that's why they're simplifying how classes play, trying to remove complexity, trying to get rid of things that like weren't even trackable without add-ons, right? Like I think of the Brewmaster, the stagger stuff going on Brewmaster, with their shield, right? Those kind of things, just to kind of simplify it as much as humanly possible. 37 different procs on arcane mages or whatever, and I don't remember why I was talking about this. All that to say though, Blizzard has to make these changes to the game. They have to do it, right? If the game's going to survive another 20 years, Blizzard's got to start making these changes now before it becomes way too late. At the same time though, that also means though there are going to be people who really rely on those add-ons due to disabilities and accessibility issues that are going to feel like they're left behind, and the hope is that we can find answers for it. I don't think the answer is to say, well, the game has to stay the way it is because 0.0001% of the players, whatever the number is, right, are going to have a harder time now or be less likely to achieve certain things. I think the answer is to say, okay, well, what can we do to try and create an opportunity there? But I don't know if you can just stop the whole ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that's all we have on current 11.2.5 things.
Yeah.
I think we can jump into a couple midnight things. I know you talked a little bit about player housing, some alpha testing, which is always pretty cool, but wanted to just jump back into just a few changes they're going to make with, obviously, I think both of these two stand for no reason, or not. That's not how you say that. They stand for no like description needed for why they do these. Big thing, changing the crest name and also reorganizing the portal rooms. I think reorganizing the portal rooms is huge. I think it's big, kind of giving more descriptions to where things go and what kind of expansion they're leading towards, and obviously putting the newer stuff closer is always a big deal. The crest change, come on, this should have been done like last season or even last year. I struggle all the time. I'm like, what is a gilded crest? What is all these, like, all the time I struggle. So I'm glad they're just changing the name to just more generic stuff. From what I've seen, I'm pretty sure it's just generically like myth, hero, and like that stuff.
Adventure,
right?
veteran, champion, hero, myth.
That's.
And by the way, alongside that, crests, like item upgrades are no longer across multiple crests, right? So like right now, if you're upgrading a hero piece of gear.
Oh, really?
Right. So like
I don't think I caught that part.
Yeah, right. So like right now, if you're upgrading hero gear, you would start with rune crests, and then I think the last couple levels are going to be mythic crests. And now, or gilded crests, right? Gilded crests. And now they're saying, no, if you're in the, let's say it was this season right now, no name change, right?
Yeah.
The equivalent right now would be, hey, the whole hero track is going to be runed. The whole mythic track is going to be gilded, right? However, now they're renaming the crest to also align with the track. That, to me, makes way more sense. I've never, dude, I know people look at me like, sorry, what are you doing? I have never upgraded my hero gear past 4 out of 6, ever.
With mythic? Nope, never.
No, because I'm also not farming, like, gilded crest cap every week, right? Like, that's just not me. So I'm not getting, like, crazy boga, like amazing gilded crest, and so I'm not wasting them on hero pieces. I'd rather save them until I get a myth piece that I can replace that with and then upgrade them. And so I do think that feels like a very appropriate transition. When they first made that change, they did. So right now, if you let's say you have a piece of tier, right, and it's hero track tier, and you get it to 5 out of 6. Right now, you would get the myth appearance because you're now spending gilded crests on it. So the appearance now looks like myth track. And they got rid of that with the crest changes and the track changes. However, it's back now. So once again, even though now you're using one track of crests for the whole gear level, it at least now grants you the next level appearance once you cap it out. On top of that, and maybe we talked about this last week too, but I just want to reiterate it. On top of that, while we're talking about tier appearances, if you collect a tier appearance, you automatically get all the appearances at the levels below it, right? So let's say you got a myth track piece of... Let's say you got a myth track helm, right? A tier helm myth track. You're getting the myth appearance, you're getting the heroic appearance, and so forth, and all of them below, right? So you would get the mythic raid, the heroic raid, the normal raid, and the LFR appearances of that piece of gear automatically. I think the big reason why they did that, one, is it's annoying to try and farm them all, so thank you, Blizzard. I hate doing it. Two, I think what they found was players were getting the, like, let's say they would get a hero track piece of gear, right? But they want the appearances of all of them. So they're equipped with a heroic helm, but they want the LFR helm. And so they're going into LFR or they're going into normal and they're rolling need on things that they actually don't need, but they know if they don't roll, but they know if they roll transmog, they'll never get it because there'll always be somebody who actually genuinely needs that piece of gear, right?
Yeah.
So they're rolling need so they can get that piece of gear and get the transmog, which, by the way, hot take, I would like to remind everybody, transmog lasts longer than eye level. So,
gosh.
no shame if you had to roll need on the transmog piece because you get to actually keep that piece of gear forever, right? Anyways, you're not using that 400 eye level tier piece. You got 3 expansions to go anymore. Now, what back to the before I got a little distracted there. I think that was a problem though, where people were sniping gear that they weren't going to wear. They genuinely just weren't going to wear that gear. And they just wanted the transmog appearance of the gear, which is, again, fair that you want the transmog appearance. Blizzard recognizes that. They came back and said, okay, you know what? If you collect a piece of tier, you get all the appearances below that piece.
Yeah, I think that's a good change. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's a great change. So, yeah, I didn't realize the crest thing only tracking with that kind of gear now, which leads me to wonder, and this might be like the hottest take ever. And I think one of these are going to have to happen. I think it's either going to be A or B. A, are they going to take myth track crests out of delves, or B, are they going to give us myth track gear in delves?
Neither.
I don't think that can happen.
Why?
Why would they give myth track tokens or crests in delves if you can't actually get gear out of delves that are applicable to those crests?
Oh, my brain was thinking dungeons. I didn't even realize you were talking about delves.
You see what I'm saying?
Neither.
I don't think that's possible.
No.
Like,
because they'll want to collect those crests to craft.
Oh, that's fair. Okay,
yeah,
true.
Yep.
That was the missing link. Okay.
Now, granted,
that's true. I didn't think about that.
By the way, though, granted, I think people will abuse that. And what I mean by abuse that is I mean logically abuse it, right?
Yeah.
So Blizzard's coming along, and I'm predicting this now. If you see it on X, the Everything app, when Midnight comes out, just know Swag predicted it before everybody else.
Oh my gosh.
Like if somebody comments that, just be like, Swag predicted you would cry over this. All right. I'm just calling out. I'm just kidding. We got a lot of Delve players, so don't hate me for what I'm about to say. Please, please,
I've been rocking
please.
Delve's lore master, so I have a newfound appreciation for them.
Good. But no, so jokes aside, what I do fear will happen, though, is Blizzard's going to say, yeah, we're going to let you continue to get Gilded Crest because we know you can use that to craft, and that's still a benefit, right? So we don't want to take that away from you. And then Delve players can come back and go, well, since we can't upgrade our rune gear now we need to get myth gear from Delves.
Yeah.
All right, heroic gear, right? Now we need to get myth gear from Delves. And I think that's a bit of a I think that's a bit of a manipulative argument, if that makes sense.
Oh no, it is.
And it's one of those moments again where Blizzard tries to do something nice, and then people are just like, actually, we're gonna try and take a step further. So I suspect I'll see that argument happen. I hope that argument isn't taken very seriously, right? I don't think that's an argument. Again, we have a bunch of Delve listeners. I don't think that's an argument that any of them would particularly make.
No, I don't think so.
But I do think in the depths of Reddit, I would not be surprised.
The depths of Reddit,
right? I would not be surprised if, right, like deep in class forums somewhere, right? You saw that conversation start up and pick up some momentum. That would be my one concern, right? And again, though, for anybody listening, I have no problem with Delves rewarding myth gear. I don't think Delves themselves should reward. I think it should be like dungeons where it goes into the vault. However, I do think it needs to be on par with whatever it takes to get myth gear from any other form of content, right? That's my one thing, right? Like, is it on par with getting myth gear from a mythical raid boss, right? And by the way, though, right, and that plays out too, like maybe one slot, right? But 3 slots of myth raid boss gear is like really hard to get, right? And so I do think those need to feel equal, right? And so right now I don't think Delves offer anything that feels even close. Like I just don't. And I know people will tell me that they're really tough. I've just never walked into a Delve and had a hard time. And I've done it on healers. I've done it on tanks. I haven't really messed with it on DPS too much because I'm not a DPS, but I'll go in on a healer and just like I'm watching Crunchyroll on my other monitor. I'm not even looking. I'm just spamming healing wave on Brand the whole time. On like a higher Delve, and so I don't know. It's not my content. Our Discord keeps telling me one day, especially like as my life gets busier and busier, that may change. Right, like right now I'm doing some arenas. Maybe one day I need to do Delves so I can get up and walk away for a minute. And if that's the case, I wouldn't mind if Delves had like harder options available of content beyond just a +11. And we might see it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it come midnight, right? We saw like +15, +20. Delves,
I think that's pretty fair.
Right. The only thing is it has to be punishing. And when I say punishing, I mean like in the same way Raid or M+ would be punishing, right? Right, like you have to feel like you wasted time if you don't succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair. I agree.
Like you actually have to feel like you lost out, and more frequently than not, maybe you lost out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, and someone might be like, "Well, Swag, tens doing a bunch of tens are a lot easier than getting raid vault for mythic." Agreed. I also agree. Now the difference between raid mythic, I think, and dungeon mythic is that raid mythic you're also getting a chance at mythic loot from killing the boss, right? So you're like double dipping, right? You're getting a vault slot and a chance at gear. Dungeons you're not. So if I'm talking about like there's a different scaling there. But anyways, I'm overthinking it. What else is going on? Is that everything?
That's basically everything. The only thing I want to touch on is Twitch drops.
Oh, you have drop. PTR testing in there. I mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
We should mention this again. I've been having a blast doing player housing on the alpha. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, whatever I do, I'm not gonna be able to keep when things come out. So I'm not going crazy, but I just want to test the limit, see what is possible, what isn't possible, make content with it. If you're kind of like me and you're like, yo, I also want to get my feet wet on player housing and test it. I believe the PTR will have I haven't looked into it. Chicken is pretty adamant though that it does have player housing involved. So if you've never really done PTR before because you just don't care about trying out dungeons and stuff, this might be a PTR that you want to try out for the. It's not the midnight PTR. It's the 11.2.7 PTR. I don't think there is a midnight PTR. I think it's just alpha and beta.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's not like, to me, I don't think it's like the alpha kind of experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, Blizzard, this is literally straight from the Blizzard form. It's, we'll be running a limited time test for new housing feature on the PTR. for anyone who wants to participate. You don't have to have midnight. However, it's important to note that this test is for an in-progress feature, and we may either periodically take this test down or cancel it at any point.
Yeah,
so
that's how PTRs always are.
Yeah, it could just be hey, we're gonna try out player housing for a week and see if. My guess is, if I had to guess, I'd say they want to see how neighborhoods work with a larger amount of people. Maybe?
Yeah. They just need to see what breaks. They need to see what breaks on the PTR.
Yeah. They want more people involved, more people around, instead of just like Swag deep in the woods by himself with his player housing.
I got some neighbors.
Oh my gosh.
I've never seen them on, but they're there.
I've never. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, we'll get into some listener questions. Do you want to do your promotion cue?
Absolutely.
Take off your headphones for 2 minutes. Just kidding. Don't take off your headphones.
Absolutely. I love this part of the podcast. All right. So we just want to give a big thank you to everybody who listens to the podcast. We love what we get to do here. But there are also a couple extra things that happen with our podcast that allow us to, do it even more so. One of those is our Patreon. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, huge thank you to you for what you're doing. It is a massive, massive help. Our Patreon listeners get priority on questions. So if you ask a question as a Patreon listener, you get priority that your question will be answered on the next episode of the podcast. Along with that, we also post bonus content weekly for our Patreon. Recently, we've been doing a segment called the Weekly 10, where we just chat about whatever's going on in World of Warcraft. Maybe we'll do a dating tier list next of which specs are red flags. I don't know. Who knows? You'll find out if you're a Patreon subscriber. Also, Patreon subscribers get access to occasional live recordings of the podcast. Chicken, we should probably do one of those next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a minute. So you get to listen in live and give responses live. Sometimes questions, sometimes answers to questions we have, which is really fun. Now, Patreon isn't the only support we have for the podcast. We also have Zygor, which is a add-on for World of Warcraft. Not a combat add-on, but an add-on for World of Warcraft that gives you guides for all sorts of things, whether you're doing classic, remix, retail, whatever it is. Zygor has guides for it. Leveling, pet battles, which might be going away midnight. We have gold-making guides on Zygor, all sorts of guides. There's going to be a link in the description. That link helps out the podcast if you use it. On top of that, though, not only are you helping us, we'll help you. You can use code SWAGLOCK to get an extra 20% off on Zygor. So it's an amazing add-on for World of Warcraft. Lastly, this one doesn't actually fund the podcast, but we love to talk about it. It's something important to us, and that's our guild, Astra. Astra is an amazing, non-toxic, social community guild where we just love connecting with other players. We love helping players get into content maybe that they otherwise would not have normally tried out, such as Mythic Dungeons or raiding. On Saturday nights, we've been doing what we call Academy Raids, which are kind of like learner raid events where you get to go in, learn raid, try things out, try out different classes, specs, etc. And you'll have people helping teach you throughout the night. Those can be really fun. This weekend, we're doing something special. This isn't the norm, but we're doing something special this weekend, where our guild runs keys every Sunday. We call it Sunday Keys, and this weekend we are doing just +2 keys. Now, +2 keys are available anytime people want to sign up, but sometimes it's intimidating. We see people sign up for like 10s and stuff, and you're just signing up for 2. And so this week we're calling it the Great +2 Push, and we just want to help teach people how to do M+ dungeons. It's literally, that's all it is. We're just teaching people how to do M+ dungeons. If you listen to the podcast now, sadly, this was the weekend prior, but any weekend, you're welcome to sign up for +2s and learn and practice and get in there. And so we just want to encourage you, if you're looking for a guild, it's called Astra on the Storm Rage servers. You can either join by putting an in-game request in to join, or you can join my Discord, link in the description. And in my Discord, there is a channel called Join Astra. Just follow the instructions in there, and a representative will reach out to you. But that is everything we have for this week in terms of thank yous. But we got some listener questions that we want to get to before we wrap up. So the first one coming in is actually a bit of fan mail. So you'll see if you look in the description of the podcast that there's a fan mail button. You can send comments and questions in through the fan mail button. Only thing I ask is just drop your player name or your screen name or whatever in there. So we know what to call you. This week, we don't have a name, but we know that they're a level 69. Nice. Paladin. And so I just love their remarks that they put in here. They said, hey there, I've been listening to the podcast and just now jumping back into WoW for the first time, really since Wrath of the Lich King. I'd love to join the guild and get some direction on all the crazy timeline I have missed. Struggling to figure out starting dragon riding now. There's so many things. I'm excited that you're getting into WoW. I'm excited that you're enjoying the podcast as you're getting back into your WoW journey. If you have questions about Astra, we did just mention that you can search Astra Stormrage in game, or jump in the Discord and we can get you an invite sent out. That's the best way to do it through those means. But we really appreciate that you're enjoying the podcast and have been enjoying the game as well. And now we have a question coming in from Oaken. If you want to send your questions into the podcast, the best way to do so is through my Discord in the Pod Questions channel. It used to be called something else. I always forget now. But the Pod Questions channel, you can drop your questions in there. Question coming in from Oaken. What are you all most excited for in Midnight?
Ooh.
I'll let you take this one, Chicken, because I just talked a lot.
I think I'm most excited for the Devourer spec. Yeah. Dude.
That's it? Yeah? Devourer spec?
Dude, no. It's got to be player housing. I think, well, I mean, there's a little bit of both. I think I'm just ready to kind of start a new storyline, start a new adventure, you know. Yeah. I spoke last week, you know, probably take a little break from WoW in the next couple weeks, you know, through the holidays, definitely. Into next year, I'll probably start ready back into WoW, you know, when Midnight drops.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah.
You know, just looking forward to, you know, new dungeon pool, new dungeon aspects, you know. I think, you know, the affects of this season are kind of getting, you know, a little dry. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. So
I don't even, yep. Always fun having new, like just all new stuff. I will say, you know, I agree. Fun. I think we maybe talked a little bit about this last week too. Definitely looking forward to dungeons. Definitely looking forward to new raids. I like that we have multiple raid varieties in terms of like design and aesthetic, which will be nice. But for sure, 100%, 110%. What I'm most excited for is player housing. I am so hyped for player housing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not often you get something this big coming in an update to WoW. And I'm thrilled. I'm genuinely thrilled to try it out.
I think it'll be good.
Mm-hmm. All right, question from Give Me a Break. This is a good question. Is Season 3 dead now when Lee Mix is out? And how do you feel pugging is nowadays? Do you get into other keys as DPS? And what about the rough climate that only gets worse? As soon as there's a little hiccup in a key, there's always that person that starts flaming. That's a great question. And I have some thoughts, Chicken. I might ramble for a bit, so why don't you tag this one first?
First of all, I liked how you call it Lemix. I've never heard that before, or literally right now, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? I think anytime there's, you know, content like a remix involved, I think it's going to split the player base, obviously. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's dead. I mean, I tried to run a key this morning, and obviously there's not too many people playing at, you know, 5:30 in the morning Eastern time, but it felt like it was a lot worse than what I've tried to do in past weeks when I run keys that early. So I definitely do think there probably is a split between it and that kind of aspect. You know, we've talked about this a lot, why they dropped them at the same time. I think it was mostly they wanted to give as much time in Legion Remix as they possibly could before they dropped player housing, because again, we got another split of content, right? So again, people are obviously going to say, oh, once player housing comes out, like Legion Remix is going to be dead. So, and actually, I think Legion Remix will be over by that point. I think maybe not. Maybe it'll have a little bit of time left, but for the most part, I'm thinking it's going to be mostly over. But I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I hope you got as much as you wanted to get done in retail and in, you know, the War Within Season 3, but it's, you know, take it a day at a time. Try to play on peak hours. That'll try to help you get better content and more people in there. So that's all I can say really. It's rough, but what can you do?
I think one thing that's important to keep in mind is like this is the norm. I think towards the end of a season.
Well, that too,
like,
yeah.
And we joke about in our guild all the time, but like when you start getting towards the tail end of a season, and I know it feels like we have a lot more time to go, but with attention changing, Lemix here, with all these things happening, it's easy to have your attention diverted. That you hit this point in a season where pugs are a lot harder. Like pugging keys is a lot more difficult. And what happens, and by the way, Turbo Boost is not going to make that easier. Turbo Boost is actually probably going to make that harder because gear in WoW is great, and gear in WoW will make you more powerful. Gear in WoW does not make you a better player, right? Those are two very, very different things. And so what you'll find with Turbo Boost, when it really hits, is you're going to have players who are a lot more geared and ready to try out content, myself included, by the way, ready to try out content that they've previously been stuck on. But the problem is their gear's kind of helping them get through it, but they're not really doing the mechanics right still, right? Like they're still not actually dealing with the content correctly. And so you're going to end up in a lot of groups that are genuinely just harder. Dungeons get harder later in the season. They like always do. That's just the nature of it. People are trying to make those final pushes. They're finally building up the courage to try things out. And groups are usually a lot rougher. The wisest thing you can do is to build those relationships earlier in the season with other players, whether it's through your guild, whether it's through just sending friend requests out to people that you enjoy doing content with. Because I know when I get back in, when Turbo Boost hits, I'm going to have to be very intentional to like pull friends in to do content, right? Where we can communicate, we can do things together. That's just the nature of it. Dungeons always get harder at the end of a season. I would not say season 3 is dead yet, though. For one, you're going to see, and it obviously different scale levels, right? Turbo Boost is not going to allow people to try out content maybe they would have otherwise been a little scared by. It's going to bring some life because people are going to want to come back and farm more gilded crests, right? So they're going to be doing those plus 10s a whole lot more, those plus 12s a whole lot more. And then on top of that, and this maybe doesn't impact you, but it does impact the general excitement around keys, right? Because people watch them. But title pushers are really going to be making their push when Turbo Boost hits, right? Because when Turbo Boost really hits its stride, that's where title pushers are going to be able to like really juice out the last of their keys and really be trying hard. Right now, they're pacing themselves because they know that once this comes out, they're gonna be able to maybe push an extra key level or two higher than they would have before. So I would not say the season's dead. I would say though that seasons get harder towards their tail end because people are challenging themselves a little bit more and stepping the content they maybe are only getting into because they have the gear benefit and not the actual skill benefit, if that makes sense, which is fine. I'm gonna do it, right? Like that's what I do, right? So but just know it's gonna get a little more difficult. I would always encourage people, if you're trying to push in keys, build friends, whatever level of key that is, whether you're pushing 8s or you're pushing 18s, form some friendships, build community around it. It just makes it a lot more fun. Yeah. Okay, but that is now everything we have time for this week on the podcast. Chicken, you did have something that you wanted to say to everybody though before the podcast ended this week, right? You were kind of hyped about it.
I did.